Test J, Passage 3, Story Time. The World Wide Web, a network of electronically produced and interconnected or linked sites called pages that are accessible via personal computer, raises legal issues about the rights of owners of intellectual property, notably those who create documents for inclusion on web pages. Okay, this is gonna be a passage about the law, which, by the way, I hope that you guys can learn to love the LSAT reading comprehension passages about the law, because if you don't like the reading comp passages about the law, then I'm not sure law school is going to be a super good fit for you. It's okay if you naturally don't like these, but you better realize that this is what law school is going to be like, so get to like it. They're going to tell me about intellectual property issues that arise with this new thing called the World Wide Web. This test, by the way, came out in June 2007. So 13 years ago, they're talking about the World Wide Web. What are you going to tell me? I don't know. I have no idea whether they're on the side of the people who create the documents or whether they're on the side of free transmission of all documents for everybody. You know, I don't really know what they want, but they for sure are here to tell me about IP issues that arise because of the web. Second sentence. Some of these owners of intellectual property claim that unless copyright law is strengthened, intellectual property on the web will not be protected from copyright infringement. We don't have the author's attitude yet, but the author has told us about someone else's position. Creators of intellectual property on the web say, hey, we need to strengthen copyright law. I wonder whether the author thinks that's a good idea or a bad idea. Web users, however, claim that if their ability to access information on web pages is reduced, the web cannot live up to its potential as an open, interactive medium of communication. Okay, in the first paragraph, the author gives us a debate. It's a legal debate. Copyright owners, let's say Dr. Dre, wants copyright law to be strengthened because Dre doesn't want you pirating his shit. Web users, on the other hand, say, not so fast. If we reduce the ability for me to access information on web pages, then the web can't live up to its potential as an open, interactive medium of communication. So the web users say, don't strengthen any law. Dr. Dre says, no, let's strengthen the copyright law so everybody doesn't rip me off. The author hasn't given their opinion yet, but I'm expecting that the author at some point will tip their hand and say yes or no about strengthening copyright law. Second paragraph. The debate arises from the web's ability to link one document to another. Links between sites are analogous to the inclusion in a printed text of references to other works. Here I'm thinking about citations or footnotes or something. And yeah, I can see how a link is similar to a citation or a footnote, you know, or a bibliography even. I get it. But with one difference. The cited document is instantly retrievable by a user who activates the link, which isn't the case if I read a book and it has footnotes. I don't get to just click the thing and immediately go to that book. I mean, I guess maybe you do on Kindle or something, but in a printed book, you certainly don't just automatically retrieve the text of the cited work. And so I can see how, even though footnotes are similar to links, links are a hell of a lot more powerful. So there's a difference. Okay. This immediate accessibility creates a problem. Oh, really? What's the problem? Well, since current copyright laws give owners of intellectual property the right to sue a distributor of unauthorized copies of their material, even if that distributor did not personally make the copies. Where are you going with that? What do you mean to say? If I put a link to a work, did I copy the work? Or did someone else copy the work? Can you sue me for a link? That's weird. I can see how that is problematic. If person A, the author of a document, puts the document on a web page and person B, the creator of another web page, creates a link to A's document, is B committing copyright infringement? You know, I think in the modern era, everybody reads that and goes, no way. That you didn't put it on the web, you just linked to something that was already on the web. Seems pretty clear here. I think commonsensically, we all would go, yeah, person A, guilty, person B, not guilty. Pretty clear line between putting stuff online and linking to stuff online. Dr. Dre might disagree. And we don't yet know what the author's opinion actually is. Last paragraph? Oh no, there's 2 more paragraphs. Okay, so long third paragraph. To answer this question, it must first be determined who controls distribution of a document on the web. When A places a document on a web page, this is comparable to recording an outgoing message on one's telephone answering machine for others to hear. Okay, so telephone answering machines used to exist. I get it. You're saying that if I put it on the web page, it's like recording. You know, today it would be voicemail, obviously, but it's you're creating something, putting it out there for the world to hear. Yeah, okay. When B creates a link to A's document, this is akin to B giving out A's telephone number, thereby allowing third parties to hear the outgoing message for themselves. Oh, so we have an analogy here to recording outgoing voice messages and giving out people's phone numbers. And they're trying to say that that's what it's like when you put stuff on the web. If I make a web page, that's like making an outgoing voice message. If someone links to that web page, that's like, oh yeah, here's his phone number. Thereby allowing third parties to hear the outgoing message for themselves. Got it. Anyone who calls can listen to the message. That is its purpose. While B's link may indeed facilitate access to A's document, the crucial point is that A, simply by placing that document on the web, is thereby offering it for distribution, which, as I said before, I think is pretty clear. Everybody says A is guilty. Therefore, even if B leads others to the document, it is A who actually controls access to it right there in the middle of a really long third paragraph. We finally get to the author's opinion. This was all real academic up to this point. Some people say this, other people say this. Then they started with this long, annoying analogy. After their analogy, they finally get around to their point, which is A's guilty, B's not. Yep. Hence, creating a link to a document is not the same as making or distributing a copy of the document. Moreover, techniques are already available by which A can restrict access to a document. For example, A may require a password to gain entry to A's webpage, just as a telephone owner can request an unlisted number and disclose it only to selected parties. Such a solution would compromise the openness of the web somewhat, but not as much as the threat of copyright infringement litigation. Okay, so the author doubles down here on, hey, you know, the person who puts it on the web is the one that's guilty. They didn't need to do that. They could have put it on the web privately, which would be kind of a restriction, but not nearly as much of a restriction as every single person who links to anything on the web is going to be liable for copyright infringement. The author has said pretty clearly here, we don't want to strengthen copyright law. Last paragraph, changing copyright law to benefit owners of intellectual property is thus ill-advised because it would impede the development of the web as a public forum dedicated to the free exchange of ideas. Ultimately, they came here to tell you about a debate in emerging intellectual property law. Because of the web and the whole problem with people linking to stuff, should we strengthen copyright law to hold people who create links liable for copyright? The author clearly says no. It would be too much of a restriction, and there's other ways that we can protect people's copyright without the nuclear option of prosecuting every single person who links to every single thing on the web.